looking at the work of contemporary artist Scott Partridge. When you hear someone refer to contemporary, it means that the artist is living, breathing, and working and creating art at this very moment. Notice that Scott is best known for his bird art. He's also known for a certain style called stylized. Now, artist Scott Partridge uses a computer to create his art. This is called a graphic artist. But we are going to take inspiration from Scott's work and create collages for our owls. Take a look at the lines, shapes, and pattern that he uses in his work. Let's get started. So you're going to need a lot of tools. First, make sure you have a glue. Elmer's glue is the best kind. Scrap paper, we're going to stick with natural colors for our owls, so we're going to use yellows, browns, blacks, and whites, and oranges. So I have a little bit of larger scrap paper as well. This is just construction paper. You definitely want to have your print out of Scott Partridge's owls. You need scissors, a pencil, an eraser. You'll need a white oil pastel and a black Sharpie marker. If you don't have oil pastel, crayon is fine. And you'll need something circular. So I'm just showing these to show that you need a round shape to trace. So once you have your construction paper, choose the color that you want for the owl's face. So you're going to take your round object, try and place it in the corner, not directly in the middle of your paper, and go ahead and trace the shape of your circle. Next, you're going to cut it out. So once you have the head shape for your owl, the next thing to do is to work on the eyes. So you can see that Scott Partridge's work is symmetrical. Symmetrical just means the same on both sides. So a trick that artists use to get the exact same shape with using paper is folding that scrap in half. So you see I'm folding, and then I draw one circle, and I'm going to cut it out. So remember, it's really important that you do not open up your paper so that you have the exact same sized circles. Next, I'm going to get some more scrap paper, and it needs to be a different color than the color that I just used for my smaller circle eyes. So here I found one. I'm going to glue each of my smaller circles onto the larger scrap piece, but I want to make sure that I have enough paper around each eye so that I can cut around, because I'm layering to make those owl eyes larger and larger. Now that I have that layered eye effect that Scott Partridge uses, I'm going to refer back to the example sheet here, and I'm going to get some inspiration from some of the geometric shapes that he uses to add some character to my owl. I like this kind of oval shape here where he's layering even more, so I'm going to choose another scrap paper and try to create that effect. Remember that I want to keep it symmetrical, and I want to have two that are exactly the same. So I'm folding my scrap paper in half, drawing one shape. I'll keep my paper closed like a sandwich and cut it out, and I will have two. So now you can see I'm arranging my geometric pieces in a symmetrical way to make sure that I like what I've come up with. Remember that the kind of art that we're doing is called collage art. So you usually don't glue everything down permanently until the last step. So I'm looking at the different kinds of noses that Scott Partridge uses for his owls, and then I'm going to decide what color scrap paper I'd like to use for that. If you look closely, sometimes he uses a triangle, sometimes an oval, sometimes a diamond shape. Now for this piece, I don't need two noses, I just need one. I think that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to keep referring to my examples, and I'm going to add more details using geometric shapes. I'm always kind of referring to the artist's work and getting inspiration from there. It's another good idea to repeat colors that you've already used on your owl's face. This gives it a sense of unity. So here I'm deciding, do I want an eyelid like some of his owls have? Do I want to flip it around? I'm kind of playing with the composition. And here I've decided I wanted to do some kind of menacing eyebrows on my owl. So I think now I have enough detail, and I like where I've placed all of my shapes, where I can start gluing everything down. Remember, a little bit of glue goes a long way. Don't use too much. Now that I've used shape on my owl's face, I'm going to add some details with my black Sharpie marker. The first, I'm going to put a black circle in the middle of each eye. So that adds to that layering effect that Scott Partridge uses. I also notice that he uses a lot of pattern. Now notice his pattern isn't stars, hearts, and moons. It's line, dot, sometimes shape. So I'd like you to find at least 2 places on your owl's face that you can add that pattern just to give it some more visual interest. Next, I'm going to use my white oil pastel to do the same thing. I'm adding pattern with line or dot to add some visual interest. Remember, if you don't have a white oil pastel, you can use a white crayon for this part.